Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Our citizenship by investment structures inhibiting investment in St. Kitts and Nevis. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 30th November 2023, brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Details when we return.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Could issues under the Citizenship by Investment Program be inhibiting investment in St. Kitts and Nevis? And were C.B.I. issues responsible for the non-realization of two high investments, namely Six Senses and Ritz-Carlton? These were two projects that were highly promoted during the tenure of the Team Unity government. However, neither projects materialized, and Six Senses was shifted to another OECS member country. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline has more.
With adjustments being made under the C.B.I. program during the period of Team Unity, could these have accounted for the non-materialization of the two hotel investments on St. Kitts? Current NIA Premier Mark Brantley was Minister of Foreign Affairs during the period, and SKN Newsline sought his opinion on this matter during his November press conference. This was his response.
C.B.I. was as opaque as one could imagine. And this is coming from somebody who was in the government. Not even those in the government knew what was happening in C.B.I. It was a closed shop. I'm telling you. The Prime Minister, the Attorney General, the Cabinet Secretary, and Les Can. If you don't believe me, try and go and ask General Powell what was happening in C.B.I. Ask Lindsey Graham. Ask Alexis Jeffers, Eric Evelyn. Because hard information was not even shared with the cabinet. So when the press is asking about Six Senses and Ritz-Carlton, don't ask me. When the next time Timothy Harris has a press conference, ask him why Six Senses run and gone and why Ritz-Carlton run and gone. Because Six Senses left here and ended up in Grenada. I'm told they're opening, I think, in January. Why they run and gone? Because I am standing here and I can't honestly answer that question. You would hear in the cabinet things like, oh, there are some issues that have arisen. We're trying to resolve these issues. What the issues are, what the resolution is, never comes. Former Prime Minister Harris is saying that the new Prime Minister should give numbers about number of passports and all of that. He did not even give those numbers to his cabinet.
SKN Newsline sought to contact the former Prime Minister on the matter of investments and C.B.I., but was unsuccessful at the time. Further changes were made to the C.B.I. program since the change of government, and SKN Newsline will continue to track the level of investment generated through the program. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Minister of Gender Affairs Dr. Virginia Albert Poyat has declared war against gender-based and domestic violence in St. Lucia with a full backing of the French Embassy. The declaration comes as a new sensitization campaign was launched. Here is more in this DBS News World report.
We have to declare war on violence. We do not want violence in our country.
These were the words of the Minister for Gender Affairs, Dr. Virginia Albert Poyat, which was reiterated by the French ambassador to St. Lucia from the Republic of France, His Excellency Francis Etienne. This declaration of war against gender-based violence and domestic violence was made during the launch of the Know Your Rights campaign at the residence of the French ambassador. The 2-year project aims at providing all St. Lucians improved access to their rights in the battle against domestic violence. This initiative presents a chance to spotlight the various avenues accessible to victims, including shelters, a national hotline, formal complaints, restraining orders, legal assistance, psychosocial support, and additional resources. Stop Gender-Based Violence Project Manager Juliet Darney emphasized that the Know Your Rights campaign would be divided into 3 components: supporting the government in the application of the Domestic Violence Act, strengthen capacities of civil social organizations in St. Lucia, and develop inter-actor synergies to reduce domestic violence and gender-based equalities in St. Lucia.
Our aim with the Stop Gender-Based Violence project, and especially with the Know Your Rights campaign, is really to raise awareness and to offer to the St. Lucia people some tools about their rights, about the law, about what the states can offer to them in regard of the fight against gender-based violence and domestic violence.
French Ambassador to St. Lucia, His Excellency Francis Etienne, stated that domestic and gender-based violence causes severe damage in society, which is why it must be fought by all and will be backed by the French Embassy.
We are, on the French side, very interested in collaborating with Castries authorities and with the government of St. Lucia, because you change your legislation in 2022. You have a fantastic piece of legislation now with the new law which passed in March 2022 against domestic violence, and we want to support that. As well, we want to support NGOs.
Minister for Gender Affairs, Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, stated that the fight against gender-based and domestic violence is one that needs to be taken up by all St. Lucians, and not just the police or other authorities.
We are also depending heavily on the support from the private sector, the general public, businesses, and schools and churches and communities. Many times people see these battles as the government. It's not the government, it is ours. If you do not protect your neighbor will not be able to protect you. So all of us have to take ownership of this campaign.
Know Your Rights campaign, which forms part of the Stop Gender-Based Violence in St. Lucia project, was launched on Tuesday, November 28, 2023, and is motivated by the Domestic Violence Act, which was passed on March 8, 2022. The first part of the campaign will involve a variety of communication tools and media, including, but not limited to, information kits, social media, and billboards. The second part of the campaign will be launched on International Women's Day on March 8, 2024, and will involve televised debates, radio programs, and more. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness in the Bahamas recruits nurses from Ghana for the first time to fill the positions left vacant from migration to Canada and other developed countries. More in this ZNS News item with Corville Pyfrom.
Despite there being nearly 1,400 nurses in the public healthcare system, the country still faces a critical shortage of nurses. Increasingly, these healthcare professionals are being lost mainly through attrition, recruitment of nurses to places like the U.S. and Canada, and growing frustration with wages and other challenges within the system. Realizing the significant impact this shortfall is having on the country's healthcare system, the government expanded its recruitment efforts. For the first time ever, nurses have been brought in from Africa.
Nurses from Ghana, it's a good fit in terms of the way they are trained, which is very similar to ours, and the fact that they are English speakers as well, that adds to it. And so that we are hoping that works out very well for us.
Like the songwriter said, when you dream dream as big as the ocean, it might come true.
Elizabeth Botema and Victor K. Padovia are among the 18 Ghanaian nurses recruited on 2-year contracts with possible extensions. 12 have already been deployed between PMH and Grand Bahama. This remaining 6, along with 3 recent UB nursing graduates, will join the Department of Public Health, working at various facilities across the country.
I have been a nurse for the past 20 years. I practiced public health nursing, then registered nursing, and then hematology nursing. So yes, I've had the opportunity to practice in all these special areas.
I've been in the practice for over 15 years in one aspect, and also in nursing for over 10 years. So we brought our experience to bear to support the health system here.
As the country continues hemorrhaging homegrown talent, building nursing capacity, officials say, is a strategic investment in the healthcare system.
In the short term, your skills and dedication will undoubtedly enhance patient care and support our existing healthcare professionals. In the medium and long term, we anticipate a positive impact on the overall health outcomes of our people.
It may be a small number, but overall officials believe that these 18 trained and experienced Ghanaian nurses will play a critical role in helping to build capacity in nursing in this country. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corbell Pfeiffer.
Guyana's Vice President Bharat Jagdeo, addressing a large gathering of residents on the Essequibo coast on Sunday last, made a firm declaration regarding the ongoing territorial dispute with Venezuela. He stated unequivocally that Venezuela would never succeed in altering the established boundaries, particularly about the Essequibo region, sometimes referred to as the Cinderella country. This statement comes in response to Venezuela's attempts to annex the area. Shemar Allen of HGP Nightly News has more details in this report.
Amid allegations of increased fear in citizens owing to Venezuela's threats and a planned referendum, several senior government officials led by Vice President Bharat Jagdeo journeyed to the Cinderella County of Essequibo on Sunday and held a public meeting. At the meeting, which saw a large turnout of Essequibans, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo told those gathered that Venezuela would never succeed in changing our boundaries.
Now and long into the future, you will remain Essequibans and residents of the country of Guyana.
According to Jagdeo, Guyana's former head of state, if Venezuela is to succeed and annex the Essequibo region, then no border in the world would be safe, as any country can one day decide to repudiate century-old borders. The Spanish-speaking nation, through a referendum slated for December 3rd, among other things, seeks to garner its citizens' support for the creation of a new state called the Guayana Essequiba, and the granting of Venezuelan citizenship and ID cards to Guyanese living there. However, the vice president said the entire country supports Essequibo remaining Guyana's territory.
People don't want people fleeing your country, Delcy Rodriguez, if you didn't notice it. Or Maduro, people are fleeing there. They don't want your ID cards.
Among other things, Jagdeo said the referendum came about owing to that country's weakness in its case before the International Court of Justice and the impending election there. Nevertheless, he said when the matter is settled, Guyana is ready to hold discussions with that country, but not on the border issue. To this end, the former president reminded the Venezuelan government that it would be a miscalculation if they invaded Essequibo, highlighting the U.S. defense team that is expected to arrive in Guyana this week. Reporter for HGP Nightly News, Shamar Allen.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.